Oh, well, howdy everyone. I normally don't have people over, but since you're here, come on in and I'll show you around. So welcome to the apartment of a distance running bum. I know this is a different style video, but I figured I'd just show you around my apartment and talk about some different things in here. So let's start with the footwear that I'm currently using at the front door. So let's just start at one end and work our way down the line. So the first pair of shoes that I have here is an old pair of Adidas slides. I just use these to walk out the door. I'm pretty sure these are about 15 years old and they're size 9, which is too small for me. I'm a size 10, but they're just slides. My feet fit on them. They're fine. They're hand-me-downs from my brother, so if I need to go out and check the mail or something, these are my go-to shoes. Next pair of shoes is the Adidas Solar Drives. These are about a year and a half old. This specific model actually ran like a half size too big, so they were too big for me to run in. I've never run in these, but they've just been my walk-around shoes. They're really easy to slide on. I don't take the effort to untie and tie these when I wear them around, so been really good for just everyday shoes. So the next pair of shoes are my trainers currently. These are the Nike Vomero 11s. Yes, I know the Nike Vomero 14s are out, but I found a great deal on these shoes and I absolutely love them. It was very nostalgic training in these because these are the same model and color that I trained in when I trained for the Houston Half Marathon, which was one of my greatest races ever. And they've been really solid. So I'm about to retire these. They've got roughly 700 miles on them right now, and I've only got a half week of training left in my training year before I take some time off. So just wearing these through the rest of the week, and then excited to break out another old pair of Vomeros after these. So nice even wear along the bottom. These held up really well, so very solid pair of trainers right here. Next pair of shoes are my spikes. These are Adidas Adizero Avantis, and I haven't been using these all that often, just occasionally throw them on for a couple fast reps at the end of a workout, maybe once every couple weeks or so. And then I also used these in a 3200 time trial recently, so want to do stuff on the track in the future next year when we're able to race again. And I just want to stay comfortable in spikes. It's been a long time since I've worn spikes before this year, so getting used to them again help me run a little faster. And the last pair of shoes that I'm currently using are my flats. These are Nike Streak 6s. I've had these for probably going on almost 4 years now. I haven't gotten a whole lot of use out of them, but I've been using them for some track workouts recently, maybe once a week or so. When I really want to get after a workout, I'll throw the flats on, but I try to stay in my trainers for most things otherwise. So let's move on to the next section now. Over here next to the front door, I keep a lot of my non-refrigerated food items. So the things that I get the most use out of are definitely the peanut butter, the tortilla chips, bread, cereal. I'm going with the Honey Crunch and Oats right now. This is just the Aldi version of Honey Bunches of Oats. So yes, I'm cheating on Raisin Bran right now. I've got a little bit more junk food over here than usual because taking some time off next week and I'm gonna enjoy it a little bit. So I haven't had Pop-Tarts in years, and I bought some Pop-Tarts for next week as well as some chewy chocolate chip cookies. I got some sweet potatoes over there, some Cliff Bars, some garlic, another box of Honey Crunch and Oats, and then over here behind the leg I've got the 20-pound bag of rice. Haven't broken into that yet because I've got a couple smaller bags stashed away still, so rice is a staple in my diet. So over here I've got this little corner table. I don't really eat here. Usually I do that on my computer, but occasionally if I don't have anything on the table, I may have a meal here. But right now, as you can see, I'm currently working on a jigsaw puzzle, just a little quarantine project, I guess. So almost finished with that. And then, yeah, normally I just put my shoes on here in this chair and that's about it. So let's shift this around now to get a good look at the kitchen. So over here on the island, I do a lot of my meal prep, and I keep the rice cooker out here because I've got to keep that readily available since I use it very often. Keep a little speaker out here in case I ever want to throw on some music while I'm stretching or doing any ancillary work. Always got to keep the water handy, stay hydrated. Keep my keys over here, anything that I need to access quickly. I also keep my workout watch over here so I don't forget it. I do have a watch that I wear for all the distance runs and stuff, but something about this watch I just love using for rep workouts on the track. It fits perfectly in my hand, and you know, when I'm running I can easily see the watch face. It's a nice big face as well. Easy to press the button and everything, especially when it's cold outside and I'm wearing gloves and it's a little harder to hit this button. That's very, very easy no matter what I'm wearing with this watch. So absolutely love this broken watch. So let's move on over to the fridge and see what I've got in there right now. So it's currently Friday and I normally do my grocery shopping on Sunday, so the fridge may not be as full as it usually is, but let's take a look and see what's in here. So in the fridge we've got some whole white milk, we've got some chocolate milk, good post-run recovery drink, different condiments, some yogurt, salsa. Keep a cold, empty water bottle, Gatorade bottle in here. I throw some Gatorade powder in here instead of just keeping like Gatorades, just because it's cheaper this way. In here I've got bananas. Yes, I refrigerate my bananas. I like them better that way. I got some whole carrots chopped up. Got some grapes in there, zucchini. My other fresh vegetables for the week were asparagus and broccoli. Just finished up those last night. So I've also got some little cheap steaks in here, 2 for $5. Not the best cut of meat ever, but if you cook them right, they still taste pretty good. Some tortillas, spinach, got some Powerade bottles in here, just random stuff. More unhealthy stuff, nutty bars. I usually eat a snack cake per night, maybe. Got some eggs and butter, just you know, just random stuff. So the next, if we take a look at what's in the freezer, not a whole lot in here, mostly frozen meat. So got some ground beef, got some frozen. I did a lot of meal prep one week where I was making quesadillas with like some chicken and spinach and corn and just different things. So I've got a few of those in here, some bacon, some chicken breast. I've got some fish sticks that have been in here for a while that I need to finish up sometime. Ravioli over here. So like I said, not a ton in here, but mostly frozen meat. So over here in the corner, I've got some more cooking equipment and random food items that don't need to be refrigerated. So, but starting over here next to the sink, I keep my multivitamins that I try to remember to take daily, but I probably forget twice a week or so. So I take a general multivitamin, I take an iron supplement, and I take vitamin C, which is mainly to help absorb the iron. So iron's a very important thing for distance runners, especially when you're doing high mileage, so I try to stay on top of that. Then I get quite a bit of use out of the electric skillet and the waffle maker as well, so I use those pretty often, keep those easily accessible. Up here in the cabinet, I've got some of my rice, black beans, flour, sugar, other random things. In here, in this one, I've got more non-perishables, so waffle mix, chicken broth, taco seasoning, my Gatorade powder, cans of vegetables, tuna, other stuff. And then over here is my spice cabinet, so just keep all my spices and olive oil and such in there. So that is it for this half of the main living space, so let's turn this around and look at the other half. Over here in this corner of my living room, I've got my little entertainment center with some different video game stuff. I do love video games, even though I never really play them anymore. I can probably count on one hand the number of times I've actually turned this TV on in the past year. Collecting vintage video games, that was like a hobby of mine in college, especially Super Nintendo stuff. I had a Super Nintendo growing up and have fond memories of playing that with my brother, so it was kind of all about the thrill of the chase for finding good deals on these vintage video games and scouring like garage sales and eBay and stuff. So I have a rather large collection that's not actually all on display here, but as you can see down here, I've got like the Nintendo 64, and even though it's not really vintage, I've got the Nintendo Wii and Wii U over here. So just something that I might as well have on display even though I don't use it. So I've got all that stuff here. So moving over from the entertainment center to my battle station, I spend quite a lot of time here, especially during these times of coronavirus difficulties where we're ordered to stay at home. So I do a lot of my work from home here on the PC, as well as when I'm not technically working, I'm usually doing other stuff at the PC as well. So that may be editing videos that you're watching right now, that may be recording a musical cover or something with the keyboard, and I've got some guitars over there that I'll show you in a second. But basically I just spend a lot of time here. About 4 years ago I invested in building my own PC that I've got down here, so that's still running like a charm. That was a really good investment with as much stuff as I do on the PC, so yep, like I said, I spend a lot of time right here. So shifting over to the other side of my PC, I've just got some other random things that I just keep out here. So I got all my guitars out here, got a couple electric Schecter guitars, I've got a cheap bass guitar, and then a classical guitar as well. And then I also keep some of my ancillary work items over here. So I've got a few different weights of kettlebells, I've got different resistance bands, I've got a different type of foam roller that I don't really like. I thought I would like it, but it mostly just sits over there in the corner. And then I've got a couple of med balls as well. So anything that I may use quite often and want to access easily, I've got over here in the corner. I don't play guitar as often as I used to, but that was another one of my big hobbies in college, was playing guitar and recording covers of vintage video game music. So I'll give you a few different samples of some things that I've done in the past. So now let's shift this camera back and get the full view of this half of the room. I definitely have the space for more furniture out here, but I prefer to keep this as open space because I like all the room to do my extra training, ancillary work, stretching and whatnot. So I'll usually lay an exercise mat out here and do that stuff out here in the open, and it's just nice to have all that space. So now before we move on to the next room, I want to explain some of my wall decor around the living area. So over here next to the front door, I've just got this goofy little poster. This story is from my 5th year of college. This was around Halloween time, and we all decided that we wanted to dress up as Super Mario for Halloween. So there were 8 of us who went out and found some overalls and red hats and whatnot, and we were all in the basement of a Halloween party dressed as Mario. So as you can imagine, there were lots of inebriated college students confused as to why there were so many people dressed up as Mario. And this picture was actually taken in the middle of the winter because my friend Sam, who made this poster, it was an assignment. He was like a digital media type of major, so he had to make a movie type of poster, and we broke the Mario costumes back out, and he made this poster, and now he's doing big things. He's working as a content creator for the Kansas City Royals, so pretty cool for one of my former teammates to be doing something like that. And then over here on the other side of the door, I've got a poster of Goku, because as many of you know, I'm a big Dragon Ball Z fan, watched a lot of that growing up, and still like watching random clips on YouTube and stuff. So I know it's a fictional thing, but it can still be motivational, and he still sets a good example for training really hard and doing the right thing and just trying to find new limits and everything. So just like having this poster of Goku out here. Then over here on this wall above the battle station, I've got the NCAA banner, which I know what you're thinking. You're thinking that this banner was stolen, which is actually false. This was during my senior year of cross country in Spokane, Washington. We were just walking out from the banquet that night, and somebody was putting this poster or the banner away, and we just asked if we could have it, and they gave it to us. So that's the story behind the NCAA banner. Shifting around the room a little bit more, I've got a wall scroll yet again of Goku. That was actually a gift to me from my brother and my sister-in-law, so might as well throw that up somewhere. And then the last bit of wall decor I have in my living area are a few different disc golf discs. So starting from one end and working to the other, this is from 2009. That's got a World Championship stamp on it, and it was actually autographed by the world champion that year, Avery Jenkins. It was in Kansas City, so I went and watched a few of the rounds. Very cool to watch some of the best disc golfers in the world. Underneath that, this one doesn't really have any significance. It's just a cool design. It's the Rinnegan from Naruto. Up here, this is a split face. I work at Pitt State. I'm a cross-country coach at Pitt State University. We are the Gorillas, so put our logo on that. Really cool to watch those discs fly, being the half and half design like that. Down here, I've got my Church of the Sunday Long Run logo on a disc, and then up here, this is a Discraft Stalker. This was actually my first ever Ace disc, so I retired that and wanted to put that on display. So now that's pretty much everything in the living area, so let's move on to the bedroom. So if you think the living area and the kitchen is pretty cool, you better brace yourself because the bedroom is amazing. So let's head on back and see what's back there. So what you see right here, this is pretty much the bulk of the bedroom. So as you can see, I've got my mattress just on the ground over here. Don't even bother to make my bed for the sake of video. Over here I've got lots of open space just like the living room. I keep my foam roller and my resistance band over here because every morning I wake up and I roll out and do some different mobility exercises and drills for my feet and ankles to try to keep preventing plantar fasciitis and Achilles tendonitis that have not been a problem for me for a couple of months, but they have been a problem for me for a couple of years before that, so definitely trying to keep in check with that. So as far as functionality goes, that's pretty much it for the bedroom, but I've got a few different things in here that I'll show you and talk about. So over here in this box, I've got something that I think many of you will really like, and these have actually been done for quite a while, but I just haven't gotten around to advertising and selling and shipping them yet because I'm waiting for all this coronavirus stuff to die down a little bit. So in this box, I actually have the next clothing item for the Church of the Sunday Long Run line, and these are nice name brand Adidas racing singlets. So on the front, I have the typical stamp that I have been using, and then on this one, I've actually got a little back logo as well. So really excited to get these out there. Just stay tuned for updates on this. I will have updates on my channel when these are available for sale. So I'm not sure when that will be, but I've got them made and I'm gonna sell them sometime. So just stay tuned. So I don't have as much wall decoration in my bedroom compared to my living area, but this is the only thing I have on the walls. This is just a dry erase board, so I can put whatever I want on this. And a few weeks ago, I drew a picture of my boy Naruto. Just yet another fictional cartoon character, but basically same kind of thing as Goku, where he's all about just training really hard, finding new limits, doing the right thing. And so every morning when I wake up, I see this and reminds me to pursue my goals to the best of my ability every day. Over here is my bedroom from a different perspective. So starting behind the door over here, there are a lot of shelves. That's where I keep most of my clothing, as well as in the closet. And then over here I've got more shelves where I just keep random items, and down here I've got my disc golf bag and lots of disc golf discs. As you can see, I kind of had a problem last summer where I'd buy a lot of misprint discs and custom dye them myself, so either I'll use them in the future or I'll dye them and sell them sometime, but that was just kind of a fun thing that I like to do. And then over here, I'll bring you a little bit closer here in a second. I've just got a little display area of some different things that I'm proud of, so I'm going to explain all of these different things in here. So each one of these things represents like an achievement or something that I'm proud of, so I'm going to talk you through each one of these. So starting with these 3 watches and these 2 paperweights, I'll call them, just little plaques. These are items that were given to us for winning a team championship, team conference championship. So in my 5 years at Central Missouri, out of the 15 team championships that we could have won, we won 7 of them. So I've got 5 of those things on display. Early on they gave us watches, and then recently they've been giving these paperweights. So very fortunate to be a part of a very good team throughout college and have good teammates to train with and everything, and just a good overall track and field program. So really proud of those team championships. So the next things are these 2 medals, which are given to anybody that competes at the national championship. So I was a part of 2 national qualifying cross-country teams, one in my freshman year in Louisville, Kentucky, and then one my senior year in Spokane, Washington. So again, I wasn't a stud or anything, but I was good enough to help a team get to nationals, so proud of those. So the next 2 things are academic awards, and this one back in the corner is called the NCAA Elite 89, or it was called the Elite 89 at the time, because there were 89 different championships in the NCAA among all genders and divisions, and this is given to one person at each championship. So How they decide who gets it is just a numbers thing. It's whoever has the highest GPA, and if there's a tie for that, then it goes to the person with the most hours. So, it's not like the best student athlete at the championship gets this, because I definitely was not the best student athlete. I was just the one that happened to have the best of those two numbers and everything. So I was pretty tough to beat because I did have a 4.0 GPA, and I did have like 130 some hours completed at the time. So proud of that one. I had a teammate who won it when I was a sophomore in college, so ever since he won it, that was kind of one of my goals, to win that thing. And the hardest part for me was getting to the NCAA championship. So like I said, I couldn't have won this without having great teammates that I had. So over here in the other corner, I've got my other academic award. This is for being a part of the Capital One Academic All-American team. They have like a first team, second team, I think third team, and honorable mention as well. But in this particular year, I was a part of the first team Academic All-Americans, and that was a bit of a stretch because it takes pretty high athletic standards to make this list. The other people on this list were much better than me as far as athletics go, but I think they just kind of gave it to me by default because I won the Elite 89 in that same year. So I don't really think I'm deserving of this award, but I'm happy that I got it. So then this right here is my race bib from the Houston Half Marathon in January 2018, which is probably my best time. If you look at all my PRs across all distances, that is definitely my best PR. I ran 1:06:55 for my first ever half marathon race, and it was unbelievable to me how much the stars aligned and how fit I was relative to what I've done in the past and everything. So super proud of that race. Over here I've got a national champion hat and a ring inside this box. This was from the indoor season of 2018. This was my first year at Pittsburgh State as a graduate assistant, and our men's team won the indoor track and field national championships in Division II at home, so that was a very special moment for all of us. Being new to the program and a young coach in general, I didn't have a whole lot to do with winning this national title. That was mostly from years of hard work that came from the other coaches leading up to this, and we only won by 1 point though, so I like to think that every little difference matters. So I like to think that my part in this was taking care of the grunt work, to give more time and energy for the coaches to focus on coaching the athletes that were helping us win this. So either way, not very many people get to be a part of a national championship team, and I was fortunate to be a part of one very early in my coaching career. So then this medal right here, this might be what I'm most proud of in this entire display. This is a silver medal from my last conference race ever in the 5K, and prior to this, I'd only ever scored points in the conference in the 10K, and I was always trashed on the 5K the next day. But in my last race ever, I came up big. I was seated like 10th or 11th, and I ended up getting second and surprising a lot of people. And I was determined to be a different runner that year, and got really fit in the fall when I didn't have a cross-country season left, and then suffered a pretty bad injury during the indoor season, and then had to build back up over the outdoor season, and finally peaked at the right time, and just was very confident and driven in that last race. So a lot of work went into this little silver medal, and very, very proud of this one. And then back here behind all of this is a display, a photo that was given to me by Central Missouri after completing my athletic career there. I was at Central Missouri from 2010 to 2015 as a student athlete, spent 5 years there, and this version of Ben was very driven and determined and was not going to let anything stop him from pursuing his goals. This picture was actually from my first indoor race during my 5th year, and then I got injured like right after that. So that Ben was very, very fit, very, very competitive, and I try to channel that version of myself a lot nowadays, and it's coming back. So really excited to get a nice competitive Ben again. So that'll do it for this Running Bum apartment tour. I hope you enjoyed this different kind of video, and I'll catch you in the next one.